Well, I missed
Eric,
everyone.
did you see that film about CFO about ball carrier and targeting?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I talked
I
to my
did
guys
not.
about that.
Mike
You
Wise is
did?
going to be putting out a film video. It's on CFO, but he's taking it from CFO and putting it out, coming up with a stance. But looks like ball carriers can be charged with 913 if they try to punish the defender now. So,
Well,
Oh, yeah, we did talk about that.
Are adamant that couldn't happen. Better have a change of attitude because Steve Shaw is in town.
Well, the other thing that came out of that, Joe, if you recall, is there are two versions of targeted when it comes to a ball carrier. He can intentionally target to punish an opponent, which is 913, or he can intentionally target to gain yardage. And that's not a penalty necessary.
You have to make a judgment. Was he trying to get the yardage or was he trying to punish the defender? You have to make that decision. So it's a fine line. Steve Shaw almost used those exact words. It's a fine line. You have to aggressively look at the play to make sure that he's not trying to get out of bounds, a goal line or a line to gain. And you have to make sure that he is trying to punish that defender. But yeah, he says it can be thrown now.
I'm anxious to see what Steve Shaw is going to say about the Auburn-Arkansas game, the back pass that was shut down. Replay looked at it and said, since nobody made an immediate attempt to go after the ball, it was a dead ball. That was crazy.
Well, I'm so glad you have a crystal ball there, Robert, because we have that play included in our plays tonight.
All right.
Hey, man, good job.
Damn, it's always Robert.
Hey, crystal ball and the observer of the group who's got the ball. So, hey, thank you for joining us tonight. There's quite a few of us that are on the call. It's nice to see some shining faces. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing so we can get on to what we need to do here, discuss a little football. We're going to do a little forward progress, short mechanics, deep wings, and we'll have some other box of chocolate type items today. Final stretch, sub-varsity assignments, keep staying flexible and be able. Huddle review, let's see, stay flexible literally. Nagging injuries are starting to pile up. It helps to bend over and touch your toes once in a while. Do a squat, get your quads stretched out. Let's stay able to officiate through January. Stay in the book, keep in your huddle. There's still several of our crewmates at Division 3, 4, and 5 that have not registered for huddle. You're not on this list because obviously you're with Hear Me Today and with the rest of us. But do yourself a little marketing. Do yourself the chapter a little marketing. Talk about huddle to the guys you're working with on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Huddle is very important in this chapter. And if you're just out there just to make a check, we get it, but you're still on a list. And it's not necessarily the best list if you don't have a huddle account. So just talk about it to the guys you're working with. Ask them a play, see if they've got something going on. So varsity assignments, we're going to skip right over that. Stay flexible. It's changing still. Give our guys a break. It's scheduling all these. Just say yes. And let's go ahead and get into our huddle plays today. Somebody let Brett be a co-host. Again, communication, appearance, pre, post, and dead ball is what we're looking at. We're going to try to do that the best we can. And you got questions, feel free to ask them. Let's see here. Well, I thought I had it.
Before you get, may I interject something on sub-varsity assignments real quick, like?
Yes, please.
We've had almost a dozen, close to a dozen sites where officials showed up and there were no games. The reason for that could be many reasons. Obviously, COVID, It's a very fluid situation. Coaches forget to call, and sometimes even our assigners forget to cancel the game and arbiter. But the bottom line is, if I'm going to go to a site, you're going to take the trouble to go to a site, call the school, find out if they're having a game, and that could prevent you from showing up where there is no game. You do not get paid, you do not get points. It's a lost cause. Thank you.
Thank you, Rudy. So I had a game canceled today, and I was putting another one today. So we're just going to have to reach back out, and you're going to have to talk to the coach on site. Quick text. I find texting is the best way to get these coaches because they're in the classroom. So just give them a quick text. I actually had a coach text us. He beat us to it last week. I thought that was pretty cool. The coach actually said, hey, we're still on. Please come. So that was good. All right. So everybody can see this. This actually was a play sent in by Ben Rivers on the Uridialis crew last week, Friday. Interesting play. I really haven't looked at it much. So I hadn't had a chance to really break it down. But it is play 37 of the Lehman and Southwest at Southwest. And this, I think, is the, I don't know. There's two sets of plays. This is the first set. We'll go ahead and let this play out. It's going to be at the top of your screen. We got a catch, got a punch. We see some communication going on between the side judge and the back judge. And what I'm going to do here is pause this, go to the next. So the first set was the Lehman. The next set is the Southwest, play 37 here. There's some interesting that they matched up. Ben, are you on the call?
Yes. Yeah,
Ben, are you working side judge?
yes.
Okay. I like how you came up. I think you and the back judge should come together, talk about it quickly. Okay? Whether he's in or out, the angles don't tell us. But if you come back to the back judge and say, listen, I've got him in, I got him out, and then you go up together, you sell it. Okay? Sell
Good
it.
point.
The other thing that you're going to want to do is turn your belt buckle to the two guys in the end zone. So you keep looking at your back judge as you're going. It's okay to kill the clock, shut it down, watch these two guys in the end zone, move to your back judge, bring you guys together, say, I got the ball across the line, and then you go up, okay? You got action going on behind you, so you're going to have to do two things at once. Hopefully your H is still looking down. Hopefully you've got an umpire that's coming down to be able to help give you some backup and support. But I think you could help sell whether in or out if the two of you come together. I mean, I know you're nodding your head like, yeah, I got it. But the film doesn't show it whether it was or it isn't, just based on where they sit in the cameras. Anybody else got any feedback on that? Any comments? Anything different than that?
What
I mean, I
was
see a
the
punch. I just don't know. You know, his foot is still not across the goal line. I just don't know where the reach is. I mean, we could say that it's right here. Here's his hand. The punch is taking place. He's still at the 1.
It looks out.
His foot's there. I don't see a reach. But it happens so fast.
Mm.
Again, everything in the camera angle from this pushes everything forward. You just have to remember that it's being pushed forward with a camera angle. So this is you and the back judge all day. And I think it would have been better just to come up and talk about, hey, where did the punch take place? What's your input? You got to the pylon. You did everything that you needed to do. Thaddeus, Brett. I don't know if any host is on. And it was perfect, right where you were. Just turn your belt buckle, get to your back judge, confirm that play.
Eric, where was the back judge? Was he on the goal line?
He was on the goal line, but he wasn't in the middle of the field. It looks like he was either position 5 or 4.
It might have helped if the deep wings took the goal line and the back judge shifted to the end line. Then you get better perspective as far as if the ball was punched out or not.
Right. I mean, we're outside the 27, outside the 25.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. And the back judge certainly stops at the goal line, not expecting for a ball to be punched and the end line not threatened. I think the back judge should be starting in the middle of the field regardless, especially with this formation. His key is over here anyways.
Yeah.
He's lined up over the ball. So he should be in the center post always, ready to rock and roll. Run side to side if you need to, but alignment-wise, you should always be on the goal post. The center post, excuse me. So that way you can switch keys quickly. Ben, does that help answer your question? I don't think he crossed, but too late for that. It's just a matter how you're going to do it next time.
Yeah, true. I can use the back judge's help. And it just makes it look like there's 2 of us making the decision instead of just 1.
Correct. Take your time. Process that play. I mean, it's fast, right? It's fast.
And
we have the luxury of slowing it down.
To sell it right away. And it did take me by surprise, too.
Oh, sure. We don't expect to be punched.
What would have been the correct position for that back judge anyway? Because if he was supposed to stay on that goal line, I don't think he would have seen when that punch would have come since it was on the opposite side of that runner. So should he have drifted more towards, since he had his deep wing covering that goal line, should he have drifted back more towards that end line catch that, or what does the mechanics manual state on a play just like that? Because I don't think him seeing through the runner would have been able to catch when that ball was punched anyway, if he stayed on the goal line. But I do agree if he was back towards the end line, he would have been able to get a much wider view on when that ball might have came out.
It was a running play. I mean, I don't know how many back judges would be trying to get to the end line on a running play to the goal line.
Okay.
Could the back judge have been in the center of the field and moved to the hash? I think that would have been he could probably helped more because he was pretty far away.
Would it be beneficial for him to crash in closer?
I would say that if you weren't immediately sure, Ben, you could take the time and go consult with the back judge
That's right.
to say, hey, this is what I saw. And even though the back judge may not have been the proper mechanic is to be on the goal line in between the hashes. That's just the back judge's proper place. But you could take the time to process it by going and talking to him about it, even though he's sitting there going like, I didn't see nothing. But at least that gives you a little bit more time. But I don't know if you wanted to do that in this case. It's pretty much one of those situations on a 7-man crew where it's all you, baby.
Well, you got time. So, I mean, a touchdown is a touchdown is a touchdown, or it's a touchback. So you got the opportunity. The clock stopped. So you can come in and you can say, listen, this is what I saw. Do you have him punch out early, or do you have him crossing the line? And then at that time, that's when you guys just come up, whether we're touching or we got a touchdown. Okay?
My question, can the back judge work sideline to sideline?
Well, the back judge should be working sideline to sideline to some degree. In a wide open play, no, not necessarily. I mean, he's typically running between the hashes on a running play. I don't know many side judges that are going to come who are going to come. Shit. I don't know how many side judges are going to go from here to here on a pass play. I think that's maybe a little unrealistic for a pass play. I think what you're going to see is a back judge lining up in the middle of the field and then working his way to here is where I think you would more than likely you would see. All right. Do we beat a dead horse? All right, we got people showing up today. That's a good thing. Okay, let's go back to this.
Thanks, guys.
Somebody saying something?
That was just me. Just saying thank you. Looking at it.
Oh, you're welcome, Ben. No problem. All right, so looking at film, talking with Maxwell, talking about training and education. Get ready for some forward progress comments tonight. Get ready for when to play over. Here's one that the play is over, but you have to continue to keep officiating once the progress has stopped. Ben, follow up with your back judge. You see here, even though the ball is on the hash or close to it, position 4, or I don't know what side of the field we're on, 4 or 2, back judge is in the center of the field. Okay? So this is important just from an alignment standpoint because keys switch and change. And back judge, you could be on one side of the field and then all of a sudden you flip to the other and you're lost. So just stay in the center of the field, back judge. So again, forward progress, have to continue to officiate. It's at about the 33. Live ball, live ball, live ball. He's grabbed up, he's grabbed up. Still inbounds-ish. I can't tell with his heel right here. Side judge when you and R on this. Unnecessary roughness. Late. Out of bounds.
Field judge.
Field judge. Thank you. Field judge went out of bounds. A late hit out of bounds. So, again, going back to the progress spot, plays over, and then continue to officiate. Plays over at about the 30. (32, 33). So the enforcement spot's going to be from the 32 or 33. Okay? All right, Robert. You want to talk about it or you want me to? Go ahead, Robert.
We can talk about it.
So I go right to the rules on this particular play for what is going to take place with Shaw or the SEC or inadvertent whistle or play not over, but because no one went after it, whatever it is, right? And I'm going to the rule forward pass, and I am going to, that's section 3 of rule 7, and I'm going to section 2, illegal forward pass, and I roll to F, and I'll read this for you. The passer, to conserve time, throws the ball directly to the ground. 1, after the ball has already touched the ground, or 2, not immediately controlling the ball. So in this particular play, ball's on the ground, picked back up, and then thrown on the ground, backwards. Running back kind of looks at it funny. Coach says backwards or something. I don't know what he says. So, we can look at it from, is it a forward pass? I don't think so. So I read a rule that really has to do with forward pass. But just to refresh your mind that if a ball hits the ground, it can't be thrown forwards, or you're going to have a loss of down, spot of the foul. So Ryan really wanted to talk about this. Yes, it is spiked to the ground. He turns, he throws it backwards. I'm interested to see how they're going to rule it, but just be mindful of when we do have these spikes that it's got to be a clean snap. He's got to control it, and he's got to immediately go to the ground for it to stop the clock and be legal on a forward pass. Some more things you're going to see tonight from the group.
Do you want to hear what the SEC said about it?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So this is the SEC's comment on the play. It says, during the third down play at 30 seconds in the fourth quarter, the officials on the field sounded their whistles and blew the play dead as they deemed the passer illegally grounded the ball to conserve time as governed by Rule 732F. During the subsequent replay review, there is conclusive video evidence that the pass was backwards. However, because recovery of the football was not clearly made in the immediate continuing football action, the ruling on the field was determined to stand under Rule 1232C or 1232E1. Both the determination of a backward pass and the immediate clear recovery are required to reverse the ruling on the field under Rule 1232E1.
So the players gave up. They didn't go pick the ball up.
According to the SEC, yes.
I didn't watch the game, so I have no idea. But
so now you get into a judgment as to how quickly the player needs to react to get to the ball, because you did have a defensive player that started moving towards the ball. He didn't make an immediate jump and move to the ball, but he started walking towards the ball and then realized and then jumped on the ball. So that's where you're going to get into controversy now as far as judgment as to what deems immediately moving towards the ball. But that's a controversy on that play.
So you think it would say that if because we're used to fumbles and we're used to players scrambling to get that football, we would say that's an immediate act to get to that football.
Yes.
So if we have a situation like this where there isn't an immediate scramble to that football, then you got a real judgment to how long did it take for them to go pick it up, or did somebody just leisurely go over and get it, and 5 seconds have gone by since they went and picked it up. So
Yeah.
Okay. Another thing, like I was mentioning, is we're going to be discussing short kick mechanics on a free kick. Guys are doing what, where, and how. This particular play.
If I could stop you for just a second on the Arkansas-Auburn play, what's the rule that a quarterback can't pick up a snap muff and then ground the ball?
It's 7-3-2-F.
Okay, thanks.
Spot foul, loss of down.
10-second runoff?
Yes. If it's in the last
Could
minute.
be.
Yes. If it's in the last minute, yes. The defense has the option.
And the clock's running.
Yeah. If it's in the last minute of each half, the defense has the option for the 10-second runoff.
Point of
If the
order.
clock's running.
Under 1 minute.
Under 1 minute.
So we don't get an opportunity to do this very often. So let me just kind of talk about a couple things here real quick. And this is kind of going to spread across all of us. And I'm going to start with B and U. Actually, where's that play to really just kind of highlight this? No. Yeah, yes. You guys are going to see this play later. And I chuckled because we don't necessarily discuss it a lot, and that's probably on us for not necessarily discussing it very often. But this is the B and this is the U. On an onside kick, from a alignment standpoint, this back judge should probably be back here, closer to the back of the line, back of the blue. He doesn't need to be that close, especially on an onside kick. You need as much room as you can. Same thing for the other two deep wings, F and S. These guys over here, they look a little too close. They need to be in the back of the blue. Same for here. They need to be in the back of the blue. On a normal onside kick situation, you don't go on the field. More than likely, you go backwards. You stay in your spot and you scan. You don't go onto the field on a short kick mechanic. Okay? For the L and the H, which the L is at the bottom, on a normal situation for an onside kick, you have these blocks. You got these blocks coming through. Have a beanbag in your hand to be able to operate. And last, you also have goal line. You have goal line. Okay? S, and F, making sure it goes 10 yards, gallery of the blocks, and then you have forward progress. Okay? Any questions on that? Too many circles, too many lines, too many arrows?
Eric, is this a seven-man for a onside kick?
That's correct.
Why did
That's
the
correct.
L and the H have the goal line when they're not the closest to the goal line?
In a normal free kick situation, the B and the U do not have goal line. They're generally going out past the numbers closer to the 50, and they're out in the middle of the field because their keys are 4, 5, and the kicker.
Right, but in an
So it doesn't
onside kick,
change.
they're closer.
But it doesn't change the mechanic of a free kick. Okay? So when this play develops, umpire and back judge back up. Back up. Let the L and the H do their thing. This is reverse. It's reverse mechanics. Normally on a regular kick, the L and the H are coming up to get the spot. But in onside kick, it's reverse mechanics. We have all 6 officials moving down the field. Not so much on the top of the screen. I think the U may get out of the way. Can't see. The fog doesn't help any.
Hey, Eric, quick question. If the ball's headed the other direction after the action's passed, would the B and the U come into the middle of the field then, or do they still stay on the sidelines?
They can come in the middle of the field. Because you have how many players back here for a referee to manage 60 yards downfield? If everybody starts to take off this way, I can't. I think all 3 are grouped right here. It looks like the U is trying to come out onto the field. Yeah, U is now out on the field right here. The H is passing him. So, he's on the other side of the field. That's good. But just from the beginning, you need to know your responsibilities. We had that in our situation, and my S and I spoke briefly about responsibilities because we haven't had one yet. And he made it down to get the forward progress spot because they squibbed it and they didn't really do an onside kick. But B, you got to stay back. The F is going to have forward progress if he's tackled before he gets to the goal line. And the L is getting his way down to the goal line. Okay? These hustle plays. These are the ones that say, they actually got their shit together. Okay? But this is about communication, and I know that our crew necessarily hasn't discussed it, but we did a quick little 1-2 prior to the onside kick. What play is this? Oh, this is 12 men on the defense. So, yeah, defender, this is a defensive tackle. He started to run off the field. Then he stops. And it snaps. He's more than a step. Sorry, bud. Coach is completely understood. He gave himself up. You still see his shadow. If he was still hustling, I would have gave it to him. But no, he's still standing right here with the ball snap. What I really like to see is the deep wings also on that side, or deep wings in general have that. I didn't necessarily want to throw that flag.
Hey, Eric, on that right there, on that defense going out, but if you're going to call, you need to make sure from the deep wings that there is 12 in the backfield, because sometimes you could be running out and you end up being with 10. You know what I'm saying?
You're right. You're right. I didn't want to. But even as a short wing, I know how many subs I got on defense. You'll see by my waist, I'll have one finger up waving down towards the ground by my hip, 1 sub, 2 subs, maybe even 3 subs. If I've got enough time, and it's just a habit. So I know how many defenders are coming off on my sideline. This is another forward progress spot. The defender actually ends up with the ball, but it is a forward progress. So we killed it. Any questions there? Progress is important, guys. You got to know when the ball stopped. Play is this. This is our onside. So, again, we had a quick little session of top saying you got progress. What I did not do is go to Phil and say, hey, Phil, I got the goal line. But we've done this before to where I figured he was going to take a step back. So I didn't, but I should have. Should have just done a quick over, hey, Phil, you stay there. And how this play develops, our field judge had a little mental lapse and didn't move down to get the progress spot. I spoke to him about it. He feels terrible. He said, oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, it's okay. Learning moment for us. And then he runs out on the field. Don't run out on the field. Run down the sideline, square it off. I think he realized it at that point. Which one is this? What time is it? 6:11. Mr. Pooch? This was sent in by a referee. Anybody see what's wrong with this particular play? This formation?
3 on the left.
3 on the left.
Yeah, 7 on one side, 3 on the left. Illegal.
What's the rule say?
At least 4.
Must be 4 on either side of the kicker.
Okay, good. Are we worried about this guy right here with his foot on the line?
When the ball is kicked.
Thank you, Greg. You know, I've just tell this guy to back his foot off, right? I'm not trying to be nitpicky here. Just tell him, hey, back up, give me a step. But this particular play here was sent in by the referee saying, hey, we don't get a chance to see this very often. And they never made an attempt to get over to make 4 on the other side of the kicker. He looks confused. He's like, wait a minute, that doesn't look right. Yep, that's what I got. Good job. Good job.
Yeah, just to be clear, that is the referee's call.
You did it right. What are you supposed to do? What play was this? This is added by accident. What's this play? I don't know. Move on from that one.
That's a good one.
All right. Everybody appears to have a foot on the line. There's some toes right there. Doesn't appear to be offsides. Good hustle, side judge. Try to get back down the field as you could. I don't know who you're pointing at, but can we agree that we got some kind of block in the back or a blind side? I think it's a block in the back, but at the 25, we'll get a head nod. Somebody, some. Thank you, Joseph. Appreciate you.
Yes.
So we got that going on right there at about the 24. We don't have the other one. This guy's engaged. Maybe you have a hold based on him trying to pull away. That's coming right up the middle. Referees, you don't have much on a kickoff other than stare up that middle and try to help guys that are trying to move upfield. Line of scrimmage, the ball's not caught yet. Stay on the pylon. He muffs it, it's going towards the pylon, the end zone. You're way out of position. You got to stay back. I know it feels awkward, but you got to stay there. Oops. Here and here. What I was looking at too is the key. Number 10. Where's number 10 come from? Ah, y'all see this? Didn't see that before. This one was shared with me. 22 is actually beyond 5 yards. See that? Guys got to see that stuff in the bunch. But 10 comes down, so it would be.
He's
Go ahead.
okay because as long as he's within 5 yards when the kicker starts to approach the ball.
I believe the rule states that upon the referee making the play ready for play, that's when that player is restricted from that whistle, not from when the ball is kicked.
Yeah.
It's got to be within 5. Thank you, Rudy. Thank you, Robert. So you guys got to see that. You got to pay attention. He makes himself beyond 5 because he didn't move upfield or he didn't stay still. Had he stayed still, he'd been okay. Excuse me. S, this is your key right here. He gets taken all the way down. You got a wide view. You got a good sight. That's the kind of flag that you're going to need on that particular play. And then you get caught flat-footed, but you're hustling to try to make up for it.
Hey, Eric. It's Grady.
Yeah.
Anything on that B, he's rushing down to the goal line. That's not his. He doesn't mean to do that.
Say what?
I believe it's the B rushing to the goal line. You know, when he comes in the center of the field. You not hear me?
It's tough.
You hear me better?
Yeah, a little bit. What were you saying?
I was saying that B is rushing to the goal line. I think it's the B. He doesn't. That's not his responsibility. He should let that play pass him from the middle of the field.
Correct. Hey, Thaddeus, are these your plays that you gave me?
Yeah, that was it. And you see that working, that one right there, right?
Did they let that play?
I have seen this one. I've seen this one quite a bit.
Was that not
to the bigger view? What did you say?
Was that not blown dead?
Nope.
No, Robert. And then he steps out, keeps going. Well, he got the step out of bounds. So I don't know about a whistle either case. I mean, it must have had a whistle.
Well, no, because so should be down at the 7. The end of the play, you can see the spot that's given is the 21.
I bet you what happened, and this happened to me in basketball one time, is you're not thinking that guy can fall. You're starting to look at the blocks ahead of it, and also the guy falls because no one's watching him because why should he fall, right? That's what happens.
Well, what I had received was that the official on this side saw an arm go down and do a rollover and catch himself back on his feet. And I don't know what the referee saw on this particular play to be able to have feedback. But we got 2 sets of eyes on this particular play.
I mean, I would venture to have a rule.
And referee lets it play. The line of scrimmage guy lets it play. Steps out. Steps out. I don't see him killing it. And then all of a sudden he just stops.
Yeah, it's just one of those plays you just don't expect it. You can tell the referee's looking at the 4 blocks ahead of the play, which naturally that's what we're kind of learning to do is not watch the ball. And then all of a sudden this guy falls, he's not expected. Someone should have caught it, obviously. But, I mean, I haven't made basketball one time. It's embarrassing, but yeah, it happened.
It didn't look too good. Not too good.
Like I should have killed it as soon as that. Well, he should have killed it in the beginning, but he also right there, he should have killed it when that guy stepped out of bounds. Not let him continue running.
Correct. This wasn't a very good series of events. So you got coaches in the white. You got maybe players in the white. Maybe a little bit of extra activity right here by 6. So who would be seeing this? It's just a lot. We just got to pay attention. We can't let this go. We got to stop it. Thaddeus, you gave me this one too.
Yeah, I think this was
The ball out, maybe a fumble.
yeah. Well, based on the mechanics of the wing and the ump, I mean they stopped the clock and of course when you watch the end zone view, you can see the ball out. And it's tough, on the wing sometimes seeing that ball, but he shut it down. I mean, but then they went back and gave the ball back to the same man.
Hey, Eric, I'm just buzzing in 5 minutes.
Thank you, Ken. Ball's out. Who's going to see this? Who's got the ball out here? Get some traffic. Is he down? Ball's right there, isn't it? I think so. Yep. He's not on the ground. He's on top of a player. If we're going to come in and we're going to kill the clock, is it for a discussion or are we piling out? It's going to be either or. Or if you're going to kill it, then you got to start winding it again, and we're going to go back. So, who can help with this particular play? Thaddeus, where are you thinking this is going to come from?
Well, you got the U appears to have a view because he kills the clock too.
Mm-hmm. He might be the first. Is he the first one to kill it?
Well, as a wing guy, I mean, you should be able to go in there and crash it, and see what you got.
You're correct, but if you don't see the ball come out, how are you going to be able to rule on that? You don't have the ball out, and all of a sudden the team B is coming up with the football. How are you going to rule on that? Who's going to help you with that rule?
don't kill it. Don't do anything until you see a guy on the ground with a football in his hand. So he shouldn't have. That ring killed it. He must have thought he saw it come out.
Umpires love to make calls like this. They don't get to do it very often. So when they're coming out and they make a call like this, they're going to put their neck on the line to kill it. Make sure it's right and then point. I don't see anyone pointing.
When it's,
We see you. Go ahead.
Eric, in the same token, if there was a loose ball, shouldn't they be from the umpire, it should have been a beanbag or something?
Correct.
And that would have given an indication there that, hey, you got a fumble here, you know?
Correct. I don't see a beanbag.
Well, if there was a discussion, Eric, there might also be a discussion for an inadvertent whistle in this play.
Thaddeus, did you see an inadvertent whistle on did they?
No, they didn't have
replay?
none. No, when I talked to one of the wings, he said that he was on the other side. He said he came in and they asked him and said he didn't see nothing. So they wound up giving the ball back to Smithson Valley.
Did they replay the down? Do you know, or did they go?
They didn't replay it.
They go the next down.
Went to the next down.
Well, with 2 minutes to go, 2 minutes remaining, under 2 minutes, offended team gets the opportunity to choose whether they want to start the clock on the ready or at the snap. Just keep that in mind as you talk to officials. Haha. So, any other questions before we jump off and go to the main meeting? Has anybody got anything else that's on their minds?
Hey, Eric, this is Jim Applegate. Hey, when I was looking at I was switching between my phone and Huddle, but on play 157, that one where you had the bouncing onside kick where you had all the officials up there. I don't know if it's the B or the H, but I didn't know if you mentioned, I hope you did, and maybe I'm covering old ground, that they need to be aware that how many times that ball bounced. If it bounced once, then that receiving team member can give a valid fair catch signal. And he
We actually skipped this play.
What's that?
We actually skipped 157.
Ah, okay. Well, if the guys get a look at it, think about what you need to be thinking about on that bouncing ball. If you get a receiving team member that gives that signal and he muffs the ball, because on the second bounce, that'd be an invalid fair catch signal. He no longer has KCI protection. So if he muffs that ball is live. You know, he doesn't necessarily get the opportunity to complete the catch anymore. So, and in that one, he muffs it, and ultimately the kicking team recovers. But that's one of the things that whoever the B and the U standing on that receiving teams or standing line needs to think about in that situation.
Yeah, so that B and U understanding that one bounce or two is certainly a great information to be able to do that. In this particular play, there was two bounces. There was a bounce and then another one that just
it looks like
went sky high on the second bounce.
Yeah, on the third bounce, it bounces real high. He bounces it right off the tee, bounces the second time, and then the third one's a great big
one. And then the third one, you're right. But I also didn't necessarily see a fair catch signal.
No, there wasn't one in that one. I'm just saying hypothetically to be thinking if that man were to give that signal, that's invalid, because you could conceivably, if it was a one bounce play and he gives that signal and it gets blown up, you could have KCI in that situation.
That's correct. Anything else, guys? No? Well, this has been fun. Thank you very much. Hope you learned something today. Hope we had a chance to break it down. If you got any other questions, you got plays to review, send it over to us. We'll take a look. And I guess we'll see you in 2 weeks. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Eric.